Hey guys, here with another Pop Up My Tower, and this one is with Kaneki. And so we're gonna dive into this one. It looks like they're at the later stages of the game, given that they've actually been able to pick up some of the things from the vault. So they're ranking well enough to actually get keys, so that's pretty freaking awesome. Uh, looks like they have at least 100 gem reduction off of their needing to respec. So that's really convenient. They've got auto demon mode, so they probably have the demon mode card, just assuming. And then, yeah, so all I can tell is, actually don't neglect some of the extra card slots. That's really nice. And then between Slow Aura and Nuke, if you eventually decide to jump into those, Nuke is a little bit better. It'll give you a little bit more actual slow effect than. And this is for the Nuke Mastery. Sorry. The Nuke Mastery is a little bit better than Slow Aura Mastery. I think you actually get cuts the enemy attack speed by half versus it's only like instead of like twice as slow, it's like 1.5 times as slow for Slow Aura, something along those lines. And Newton Mastery costs less, but you have to do labs to be able to reduce this down to minimum. So a little bit more work as far as the lab side of things to push that, but it'll be nice later on. I'm actually curious. What do we have for masteries? We've got demon mode. Yep, called it. Enemy balance, damage, coin. Let's see what else we've got. Critical coin, extra orbs, wave skip, intro sprint, package. Okay, that's awesome. Super tower. Okay. And wave accelerator. Okay, so we've got some of the big juicy ones. um, this is going to be a tough one for me. Oof. Oh, this is rough. You don't have at this stage of the game not having ancestral actually really hurts. That sucks. Let's see, do you have any copies in here? It looks like you've got one copy here. So you probably need about 3 more copies, maybe? I can't see beyond that, so I don't know how many more you need it. But hopefully you can get that soon. Obviously, that means that you're going to want to really push your gems towards rolling modules, and that's not fun. Cross my fingers for you. Hopefully, luck pans out where you can get this done sooner than later. But I can see that this is probably like the major pain point for your talent. Just looking at your multiverse nexus, let's see, we've got Death Wave quantity. Okay. We've got the cooldown. So, yeah, not a lot of reroll shards either. Ugh. Ugh. This is painful. Um, what do our labs look like? Modules. Okay, reroll shards. We're gonna need this. We're gonna need this because oh man. Oh yeah. But you're gonna need to get that reroll shard. That's. Let's see what your active labs are. We got Super Tower bonus, Super Tower mastery, Shatter shards. This is a very strong one. That's very solid. Keep that up. If you can go until that's done, perfect. Lab speed, absolutely want to get that done. Enemy balance, that's really good. That'll get dropping more cells. Very, very strong, in my opinion, especially because this will lead to you being able to get more cells so you can pump up your lab speed. So right now you're at ×3. Hopefully once you get this up a little bit more, we'll get more into the realm of like a ×4 across the board. So I think you have 2 big holdups. Yeah, let me look at your ultimate one. Okay. You definitely don't need any more chain lightning damage. This is way more than enough. Way more than enough. It looks like you do have smite, so that's nice. At this point, I wouldn't touch any more chain lightning damage. The rest in the smite is going to give you a lot more bang for your buck than anything else. Treat your damage here as more of like this is going to be good for anti-shatters, and smite is going to be delivering the blows to everything else. But we've got some other things here. Kill Deathwave quantity. Getting that max will be helpful. So there's one there. And this is also going to increase the number of cells that you get. So, yeah, this will be good. And we've got GT. Okay. This is a pretty solid spot. Obviously, for increasing econ. Yeah, this is really good. It's pretty expensive, so subsequently going to get more and more expensive going forward. I'm going to go back. I'm going to say kill wall. Let's get this sucker done. We do have CF plus, and at that level, let me just look it up because it's going to be a lot easier to look it up than to compare it to mine. Okay, I guess I'll have to compare it. Okay, so level 9 is that. You've got 2-5. So Chrono Field. So you're going to want to get this up to level 5. Or Chrono Loop up to level 5. At least. We want to get quantity up on Deathwave. So we want to get as many of those elites marked as possible for their cell drops. GT Plus is pretty strong right there. And I'm kind of between like thinking about transitional strategy. This is fairly late in the game, so coming up with what's the best route to go is tough. Let's see. I don't know if I talked about bots yet, but it looks like you have it at least unlocked so you can do the labs for this. Dump the metals from this into Goldbot. That'll be helpful there. Um, just got a food handoff from my wife. Yum, yum, yum. Thank you. Missile amp. I'm surprised this isn't done. This is gonna push you so much farther in this radius. How are you this far and you don't have these? And I'm not trying to I'm actually genuinely surprised. Like these are so powerful. Oh my goodness. Let me see. So, uh, damn it, masteries are good too. So, it's gonna cost you so much. Oh, okay. Oh, this is really hard because I'm looking at what you've got going on right now. But let's see if you have anything about how much you're making on each run. Let's see. Well, the first year, so maybe 2 years. Um, I don't know what your coin and I don't know what your income is per run, especially without that at 40 seconds. Okay. I'm just gonna have to go through and just digest everything here. There's so much. Um, so missile amp and missile radius, that's gonna be super important. Um, After that, I think your shock chance is good enough. It's good enough where it's at. I wouldn't this is shock is so low on the priority for you. I wouldn't worry about that. Golden bot duration is pretty good. I would keep that in your favorites. Um, Super tower is really good. Um, but given how much smart missiles carries things, this is so tough. This is really tough because you've got some good stuff in here. It looks beautiful. And I'm like, yeah, let's go. And then some of these are like really horribly hurting you. And I think getting that missile radius, that's really up there. If you get to a point where you can only do one of all the masteries that you have, I would say enemy balance. And then for that second one, if you're dipping out because you just don't have the coin, I would say work on missile radius. That's just so important. I want to say more missile amp, but you're getting a lot of damage from masteries as is. So getting that radius up so you can spread all of that damage out over a larger area, I think is where we need to go. And it's going to be painful trying to pull away from, like, yeah. There's something grinding weird underneath my mouse. Hmm. Um, grab Jimmy. Yeah. So if you're tight on the finances as far as like being able to afford masteries, keep enemy balance going because that's going to feed your econ, that's going to feed your cells, so that you can dip more into some of these later on. And then I would replace Super Tower Mastery. Well, you've got minus 50 seconds, so after this is done, you're going to have 50% uptime, which is going to be nice. Yeah. And put in SM Radius. Clean off my desk here. Okay. Let's take a look at the rest of these. And then having stuff like Swamp, Stun Time, and Radius, that'll definitely be good for later, especially as like an anti-ray or just generally just trying to stun and delay enemies so that your smart missiles can go out and get them. Yeah, having all the three poison swamp stuff is good to have. Oof, yeah, we got a lot of masters. We got recovery package. That's really good. That was actually the first one that I personally went after. But looking back, I think what I probably should have done is I should have done enemy balance first, just because that's going to get me a lot more cells, and it's also going to boost my econ in general. And then, um, really focus on the cells first to get my speed ups as high as possible. So that would also be like wave skip. I don't know if you've do you have wave skip? I don't see that here. Um, okay, yeah, you do have wave skip. So you've got the mastery for that. So that would be a good one to follow up on. So I'm trying to clean my mouse here. When you run your mouse over something and it feels like there's pebbles underneath it? That's what it feels like right now. And I have no idea where it's coming from. So yeah, enemy balance and wave skip, I think, should be a little bit more preference towards, just so you can boost up the econ and the cells so you can get through those labs faster. Wave Accelerator Mastery is nice for econ. Got Coin Mastery, got Critical Coin. You pushed Lab Coin discount even farther than I did, so that's pretty cool. Critical Factor, I would have more labs into that than damage. Especially because not only does it give more per value per upgrade, but you can also double dip it with ultimate weapon crit. And then as far as like super crit stuff, having those up to like 10th of what you've got like your crit stat at, which as I mentioned should be a little bit higher than your damage. That would probably be a good spot for those. So you're looking at eventually trying to get crit factor up to the 70s, and then 7 on super crit chance and super crit multi. Let's see here. Not seeing anything on the defensive side that needs any work. Yeah. Maybe eventually get wolf arms to level 10. That's always nice, but not necessarily needed per se. Covered package mix. Nope, don't want that. That. Recovery package chance. Absolutely want this. This should definitely be on your favorites, because you need that for GCOM, so you can get more packages. So this should be pretty high up there. If I remember correctly, I think you already had Chronofield up where it needed to be. Pretty certain of that. Just make sure. Yep. So you don't need to do that last level of Chronofield duration. Good there. Airline my blast radius. Okay, that's fine. So yeah, for Chain Thunder, once you're dipping down farther into Chain Lightning Plus, that's when I would raise this up. But until then, you're fine where it's at right now. Deathwave Amp. So this one's actually pretty good if you're doing Deathwave, like you're killing enemies with the Deathwave, Death Wall style of farming. This is going to be like Deathwave Plus currently. So if you can knock that up, so you're always marking enemies with the effect waves. So when they hit your death wall, they have all you have all that amping that you want them. Very very powerful mastery to have. Eventually, it's nice to ban out these perks. But that's further down the road. You've got a lot of stuff on your plate, especially with masteries. So yeah, wave skip mastery I'd put up there, because that'll result in every time you wave skip, an extra 10% in both coins and cells. So yeah, I think that was a change more recently that they put in there. Really makes it useful. Yep. Put one level into each of these, and then you can jump out of Ampbot and do other stuff, and you'll always have this research available. So when you have some time, you can put that in there, and then once you can afford, when you're done with Golden Bot, then you can jump into these. Or you can just jump out of it and be like, okay, Ampbot's going to be potato when I can afford it anyways, so maybe at that point I'll do the labs. You can do that too. Reroll shards, important. Put that up in the favorites for you. And hopefully you can tackle those. Let's see. And I'm just going through G-Comp. I'm also going to want to get that ancestral. Reroll out a bunch of the stats. That's going to be really expensive. But yeah. Multiverse Nexus. I would say some of the core stats that you're going to want. You already have a Golden Tower cooldown. You'll want Death Wave cooldown. You'll want Death Wave quantity, Spotlight angle, and then Golden Tower duration. Golden Tower duration specifically for the GT Plus. Very, very powerful. But you're going to need a lot of reroll shards for this, so yeah. That's painful because it's like you need the reroll shards, which you don't have. So just stick with what you've got for a while. Just stock up on a huge amount of reroll shards and then go to town on it. Hopefully you're able to reroll this up to Ancestral, and that'll get you close to that pretty much almost like effective, like 100% uptime kind of deal with your Death Wave effect waves. And then, yeah, hopefully you can get this as a Death Wave cooldown. And then once that happens, it's probably going to shoot you up so you're no longer at ×3. You'd be probably closer to like ×4 on all your lab slots. Especially since you already have like enemy balance going. So you might even get to the point where you're doing maybe like ×5 on one of them, maybe. No promises there. Yeah, and then for like, let's see, Smite is good, especially for, yeah, Smite's good though overall. You're gonna want more quantity for smart missiles. Frontal loop, you want that up, and more angle here for spotlight. The other two, if you grabbed another ultimate weapon plus light range is pretty nice. Turn your damage per meter into basically like extra damage. But that's down the road. Looks like we've got some other stuff as far as like getting more angle. And then as far as, so that would be building up towards having 100% uptime with DW effect waves. As far as the transition from there, and you can also use, instead of Wormhole Redirector, you can use Anti-Q Portal. Because if those shockwaves hit the enemies, then when they hit your Death Wall or your Death Wave Death Wall, they get that damage bonus, which means it takes a lot less out of the, let's say, kind of like the health pool of the damaging wall. And then the other strategies that I would want to suggest. So the other strat that's outside of the whole multiverse nexus G-Comp, which I think is, I feel like that's the best strategy for you to go into right now. Because your spotlight angle isn't quite where I think it needs to be yeah. And actually, since your angle is this right now, I don't think it's worthwhile for you to invest in or mastery either. But once you have this up a little bit higher, I think it'll be much more viable at that point. Uh, Rend armor, damage per meter, that's not doing a whole lot for you right now. You don't have Spotlight Plus, so you can put all your coins back into other things. Obviously, landmine damage, you don't need that. At where you're at right now, you're pretty much killing enemies as quickly as possible, so Defense Absolute's going to do absolutely nothing for you at this point. Wall health is fine. Orb size. Maybe a little bit more love into cells. And then you do get a really sizable bonus out of each level of this. But it looks like your ratio so far to these to this is pretty decent. So you've got a lot of stuff done. I think I know where you're generally going with this. You're probably modulating a lot of your damage. So you probably have like your first phase is enemies are dying on kill wall, which is fine. If that's the case, that's plus 100. Okay, so I'm not sure how close to max that is. Probably pretty close. Um, hmm. If the first phase you're going for like enemies are dying on kill wall, or basically the death wave little wall of death, which it used to be kill wall, now it's just part of death wave. Um, you could max critical factor and critical chance. And then if you're trying to modulate your damage after that, so you're only killing enemies in spotlight, um, you could do, like a preferential targeting for enemies in spotlight. Having rapid fire wouldn't be too bad, and attack speed. Then once you get to the point where you're like, okay, I feel like I'm in danger, then you can invest in the other things. Well, as you're trying to get your damage up, you can raise it here. Yeah. And then finish everything off by getting the multi-shot and bounce. And as far as, yeah, to clarify again, so targeting would be enemies in spotlight. And then working your way down for like what enemy is the most valuable to the least valuable. So it looks like you are doing a little bit of hoarding strats here. Okay. Huh. But you've got GT Plus, and you've got it so well developed. I don't know if I don't see how any sort of hoarding strategy is going to be useful. So I would say max out. Maybe try maxing out thorns and knockback chains. Shockwave size, that's fine. You can have a Devon. Landmine chance, that might steal enemies away, so yeah, keeping that, that's what I do. That's fine to keep that Devon. And then once the enemy health passes a certain point, like we'll use mine for an example right now. So this is a good time to make sure that my landmine chance, like this is no way this is gonna kill this enemies with this amount of health without being in spotlight. So I can just plop that on and we're good to go. Um, free ups, you've got those reduced. Yeah. Anti-cube portal, you've got shockwave frequency, that's awesome. Um, you're probably using this for tournaments, and that's why you have the orbs. You could also use this in farming, so in that case, it would be like, well, let's save on rerolling shards. So yeah, this is probably, yeah, that's not too bad. Let's keep that. You might be able to. I just feel like with landmines, you're really going to want to get more spotlight angle. Especially if you wanted to use something like this in a farming setup. For farming, you've got the defense percent, the health regen, the wall health, thorns damage. Okay. Yeah, it's fine. And you're making about 1.7 Q coins per run. I mean, that's pretty good. Um, yeah, the G comp is holding you back, but pulling off 1.7 Q per run, that's not bad. Demo with SM. Use guy for farming. Demo with SM. Okay. Yeah, I haven't looked at that specific video. I might be doing something similar sometimes. Maybe not. um, but yeah, hopefully you can crank up that labs. Where are labs? Hopefully you can crank up that missile radius. That'll be really, really nice. Anyway, that's just kind of the thoughts that are on the top of my head looking through things. And we'll catch you later.